I'm Travis Love, Atlanta-based artist, and originally grew up in Decatur area of Atlanta, and I went to Southwest DeKalb, and it was an amazing time. Like I would say, it was like a renaissance period with so many creatives. You know, like kind of growing up right down the street where Andre went to school at, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Grandma used to be like down the street, and so like being in that hub of so many creatives, I feel like it really kind of rubbed off on me as well to take that and grow into an artist. And originally got started as an artist being a skateboarder. I never knew that skating would lead to me being a full-time artist, but it did. And I used to go to the skate park in Decatur. Me and all my buddies would meet up, and then we would just have like the time of our lives, like at the park, and skate all day, right in downtown Decatur, which is totally different now. But I would do different crazy art graphics on my skateboard, and when it came time for me to graduate, I knew that I wanted to do something. I originally wanted to go to Cali and just pursue skateboarding, but coming from a background of a family that mainly didn't get the opportunity to go to school and college and things like that, it was something that my mom really kind of wanted for her children to be college educated. So I got the privilege to attend Art Institute of Atlanta. Art community at that time was just so wide open. We were doing graffiti in the city of Atlanta, like the trains. It wasn't as many murals at all. It wasn't anything what it was like today, and we still had so many cool spots. Like MJQ's was like at its prime at that time, like the old Atlanta, as a lot of people would say, was in full effect around that time, and it was a lot of fun. We had like tons of fun, and places like Little 5 Points was popping. Star Bar was like this punk rock place we used to go to, and they would have like the best house shows, and it was a lot of fun. I learned tons of new techniques, in school, met some lifelong friends and people that I still call friends to this day, and I never knew that some of those skills would kind of catapult me into where I am now.
Why did you become an artist?
Becoming an artist was never really my intention. It's just something that I kind of grew to do. I didn't really see myself as somebody that would even have the patience to be able to sit through long sessions of creating detailed art pieces and to even have the discipline to execute something of that nature. But it's something that kind of just grew on me. A lot of things from the past, like relationship stuff, parents' divorces, like through school, with that different teachers and things I went through in my life, it almost grew to be something very therapeutic for me, and it just became something I grew to appreciate. And through that discipline, opportunities started to grow from me just executing. I didn't think that getting into the industry as a designer would truly lead me to, being an artist for a style. I didn't intend to I kind of just fell into it, and just through progression and keep working, I kept working and developing different brands. And I was the guy in college that was like painting on the tables. I was really rambunctious. I was like the only guy in front of the school skating all the time. Like the dean hated me. Like she wanted to get me expelled. So like she would literally talk to my teachers and look for any sign in my work to see if she could use that against me to get me. Because like we had a rule in school where like if you fail 2 classes, then they can put you out for like 2 years and you can't come back to any art institute. So like everybody was like really afraid of failing 2 classes in a row consecutively, because that could get you removed from the school completely and like all those loans lost. So that was a big thing, me being a rebel at that time. I really didn't, I had a lot of resentment at that time, from being forced to be in school, and coming from the skateboard world and just more of, graffiti culture. I still had a lot of rebellious spirit in me at that time. And so it was kind of hard for me to really kind of like focus in. But, I joined a crew of other artists and different things that kind of helped me kind of mold my style. And then, so, later on towards those last 2 years of me being in school really helped me kind of really lock in where it is, the direction I wanted to take it. In the beginning, my first big opportunities kind of stemmed from, different relationships, people that I had knew in my earlier years, and a lot of people that were friends with my older brother. He's actually like an alumni to Morehouse and Howard University. And so through his network, I got an opportunity to kind of meet a lot of people that I wouldn't have met going to an institute, like Art Institute. And so that kind of really helped me be able to bridge the gap between, kind of the outcast kids and, getting that perspective and diversity to the HBCU schools and colleges and stuff. And so his friends would see me doing art, and they went on to, get different jobs, and they saw that I never gave up, and I would just plant different seeds, and they would, one guy named Chase was working for a major agency in Portland, and he dropped my name to the agency, and they did their research, and they really loved my work. And when they came and we won the championship in, I think, was it 2018, they decided to work with me for my first major deal with Adidas. I got to design like the shoe for the MLS games, and so that was a major turning point for my career. It's been a lot of ups and downs, and like a long road, but just through consistency and perseverance and continuing to put myself out there, just new opportunities began to arise, like stuff that I would never even expect. But I've also too missed a few opportunities too, but I'm grateful for everything, and to even be able to have a voice in the art community. So I realize that you win some, you lose some, and what you do get is meant for you. So I don't look at anything as mine. I kind of look at it just as a moment in time, and what's meant to find me will find me. And like, I put myself out there, of course, but I don't try to force anything. So it's just, I've been, by the grace of God, I would say, like, things have just been finding their way. I recently got an opportunity to go to London and also Barcelona, and like, I had a blast. Visiting some friends in London, I actually stayed with my buddy's wife, and he was currently working out his visa situation. He's a film director. Shout out to him, we were still friends, and up their home, and they welcomed me, and they were really nice people, and they showed me around London. I got to go to South Banks. That was a spot that I always wanted to go and skateboard, like being in South Banks. I got to see Big Ben, the Clock Tower, and Tate Modern. Really liked the collection that I saw there. It was really inspiring. Their gift shop was amazing. I had to pick up a few things from there. What else did I do? I got a chance to try some of the food. It was also a pretty cool music scene in London too. We went to see this show in Brick Lane, which was flooded with all types of different street art. And it's just a really cool crowd. And so after I left London, I flew to Barcelona, which was only about 2 hours away. And I know how to speak any Spanish. And like, literally my flight landed in the middle of the night, like the airport closed. Like, I couldn't get back in and the lights went out. So nobody speaks English. It was the only bus out there, and I just showed him the address. And then I was like, hey, is this bus? He just waved his hand like, come on, get on the bus. And so as I got on the bus, it took me to, the central point. And so my trip began there. I got to, I always wanted to go to like the Stacks. It's this place that's flooded with street art. And I also got to see and it's all these skateboarders go and they skate there, and it's like in the front of this museum. And I always wonder what was inside of that museum, like my whole life growing up. And I finally got a chance to like go in there and kind of explore. And I really liked the content. Like they had like younger artists in there, and it was kind of really creating like a great art scene in Barcelona, people that lived there. Some of the locals weren't as friendly and accepting to locals and tourists as I thought, but I did get a chance to meet some really cool people from all over the world, and there was it was people from everywhere. And I flew back to London, and from there I flew back to New York, and then chilled there for a second, and then came back to Atlanta. I love doing art and I love creating, but involving the business side has definitely presented a new task. Nearly grown as a better businessman, artist, and just individual overall. Like, you know, I do appreciate what I've learned, but I do miss kind of like that wholesome time where, you know, the art didn't have so many guidelines or weight or pressure on it, or, you know, can be difficult sometimes when you kind of do everything in your power and the client still decides to go in a different direction, and you kind of are dependent on that project, or may have plans of things of how you want to go forward with it, and it doesn't happen. So it's definitely taught me patience, you know, to be poised, to be balanced, and to, you know, be humble as well. You know, nothing is promised to us in this lifetime, and to be grateful. Like just be grateful. What's meant to be will be, as long as, you know, we don't quit. You know, some people quit the game simply because they strike out a bunch of times, but they could hit one home run and then now they're in the Hall of Fame. So it's all about how you kind of approach, you know, what it is that you're doing. You know, and so that's kind of the attitude that I try to have at all times, being a full-time artist. Question of being a Black American artist in 2023 and what's it like? I think that it is an amazing thing that, you know, we have the opportunity to be in this realm of creativity and the creative space, to be appreciated and acknowledged. I think we've made amazing strides, you know, in the last 50 years that we have done, but I will say that it does present a lot of adversity as well. You know, being foothold, you know, like I always have this funny quote, and it's like, you know, like what if aliens came to planet Earth and they had to pick a skin suit that they had to wear? Like, all of them would pick, which skin suit would they pick, you know, and would all of them make it back on the spaceship because they were trying to, one went to the wrong place and he picked the wrong skin suit and he was killed by some police brutality or something like that. And so, like, I only say that metaphor to say, you know, a lot of things aren't, you know, we have to play our position and play our roles, but we all are just humans, you know, we all eat, sleep, bleed the same color. And so, you know, my goals and my aspirations are very similar to anyone's goals and aspirations, to feed my family, you know, and to build my community and leave a great legacy. I feel like we've really like catapulted so many brands place of making certain fashion statements, and, you know, crisscross had the whole everybody wearing their pants backwards, and that's just a testimony of how much influence we really have. And it could seem almost challenging, you know, with the lack of resources, lack of funding, lack of community, lack of circles of people like minds to achieve these things. But, you know, let your presence be felt, and, you know, speak your truth and tell your truth, because, you know, we got a lot to say, and people need to hear that. And I feel like each one teach one, you know, so.